So on this channel, over the last lots of years that I've been doing these videos, I've focused very heavily on making sure that I get a good quality image, so that means a lot of upgrading cameras, lenses, lighting. I haven't really focused all that much on audio. And over the last few videos, you guys may have noticed, I've been doing videos about audio-related stuff a little more. So in a roundabout way, that brings us to the topic of today's video, which you may be able to see there in the background behind me. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Focusrite Scarlett Solo 2nd Generation Studio Pack. I decided if I was going to be doing any sort of testing on microphones, specifically XLR microphones, I needed to have some way to get a higher quality interface so that I could tell where in the line the problem actually existed. And the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, any of the Focusrite Scarlett series products, are the sort of de facto standard, as far as I'm aware, for this type of thing for a lot of people. I know there are a lot of other things out there, a lot of other options, but this is the one that has come extremely highly recommended. So taking a look inside of the box, what are you going to find? Of course, you're going to find the Solo itself. On the front of it, you'll find one XLR port, a 1/4-inch instrument jack, or it can also be used as a line in, and a 1/4-inch headphone jack. On the back, you'll find a USB port for output, as well as RCA if you want to output to speakers or something. You also get a safety information guide. You're never going to look at that. You get a really nice, really long XLR cable and a USB cable for connecting it to your computer. In my case, I'm using the new MacBook Pro, so I cannot use that cable, but luckily I have a USB Type-C cable that will work for this. We'll get into those things in another video though. You'll also find the included microphone, the CM25 Mark II. It has an XLR jack on the bottom of it, an all-metal construction, and updated branding on the back to show you it is the newer model, the CM25 Mark II, and not the original one that came with the 1st generation studio pack. You'll find the all-metal mounting bracket for the CM25 with an included 3/8-inch to 5/8-inch adapter so you can put it on a microphone stand properly. And finally, you'll find the HP60 Mark II headphones, again upgraded from the original HP60 headphones included in the 1st generation Focusrite Scarlett studio pack. It has an attached audio cable to it, so if that cable ever breaks or something goes wrong with it, be prepared for that. And at the end of the cable, which is actually a decently long, pretty thick cable, there's an included 1/4-inch to 1/8-inch adapter that just screws off, so you can use it with whatever you want to, sort of. And that brings us to where we are now. If you're curious how all of this setup sounds and how it works, I'm actually using it right now. I've been using it for this entire video, if everything goes appropriately. And what I'm doing, I've got the microphone mounted overhead. It's less than a foot away from me with a windshield in front of it. I actually took the windscreen off of the toner microphone that I did the video about recently. Fits just fine on there. And from there, I'm running the XLR cable down to the Focusrite, USB cable into my laptop where I am capturing. And just for a point of comparison, because I do have audio running directly into the camera, this is the Focusrite CM25 Mark II microphone you're hearing. And now we're switching over to the Audio Technica shotgun microphone mounted on the camera, which is a little over 2.5 feet away from me probably. And you're going to hear from the Audio Technica, it is significantly farther away. It's not getting the best quality sound. It's very echoey and very open sounding, whereas switching back over to the CM25 microphone, it's much closer, it's much more rich. It sounds like well, I guess it kind of sounds like I'm in your ears, as it were. There's also a lot less echo and a lot less background noise, although it does still retain a little bit of that room sound because it is a condenser microphone, not a dynamic microphone. Might have to look into a good dynamic mic moving forward for other things, but this will get the job done. So interestingly enough, one of the things I wanted to test out with this was I wanted to go from the headphone port on the Focusrite directly into the camera so that I could have sort of redundant audio. And unfortunately, that didn't work out appropriately for me. I don't know if it's a problem with my camera or a problem with, I'm not really sure. I've tried different cables. Taking those cables directly into a pair of headphones sounds beautiful. Taking it into the camera, there's something strange about it. So I'm guessing it's something in the camera that I'm using, the Panasonic G7. But as you can probably hear, going straight into my laptop, everything works just fine. So I'm more than happy to continue doing it that way. It does, however, mean having to have additional hardware in, on, and around everything that I'm using in order to make it work, but to get better quality audio, I'm willing to make some sacrifices. And the other good thing about this is, as time progresses, if I decide to try out different microphones, I can always just swap out this overhead mic. I could actually move the mic down onto a stand or something to have it closer to my mouth if I wanted to do that. It gives me the flexibility of swapping out, again, for higher end microphones and fine-grained controls of the microphone levels, as well as being able to add in a background instrument if that's something that I wanted to do. And included with all of this bundle is a bunch of software. It's got Ableton Live Lite and Pro Tools Lite and plugins and drum sounds and piano music and just a bunch of things that I'm probably never going to use. I actually ended up downloading all of them, and I took a quick look at Ableton Live 9. It was overwhelming, we'll just put it that way. It's something I could definitely see myself using if I wanted to record more musical stuff, but for the type of videos that I make, this is where we are. This is what I'm going to be using it for. The only other thing I could see myself using it for is actually putting it into an acoustic shield and doing voiceover work with it, and that's really the extent of using it for me. I've I've seen other channels like Podcastage where they take it and they test it with guitars and amplifiers and singing and everything else. Definitely go check out his channel if you want to see that kind of stuff. That's just not where I am. But for me, I'm actually very impressed with the setup so far. I think at the very worst case scenario, just having this external interface where I can narrow down any possibilities of where problems might exist with microphones that I'm testing. Just as an example, I did some testing with the toner microphone again, plugging in through the Focusrite, and there was definitely a lot of background noise and hiss that you may not be hearing with the CM25. And because why not, let me go ahead and give you an example here. This is the toner microphone that I tested out previously. I have not changed anything. I literally just unplugged the Scarlett Studio microphone, the CM25 Mark II, and replaced it with the toner microphone, which is now overhead. I can quickly and easily swap back and forth, and I will say, just holding them both in the hand, the toner mic is a little bit lighter. The build quality is actually very similar. The Scarlett may feel a little bit more solid, but it's still, they're both metal on every component, so very well put together. Now let me switch back very quickly. The other really nice thing about having a setup like this is that I can actually go in after the fact and make changes to the audio. So I can remove noise, I can add additional gain, I can add compressors and equalizers and everything before bringing it into the video. The possibilities are really hugely expanded so that I can make the video better quality, which is really the end goal for me. The other part of this I haven't really talked about yet, the headphones. They're headphones. They sound really nice. They're actually very comfortable. Put them on over ears and they block out a lot of external sound, and this little headband over top just very quickly and easily adjusts to your head size within reason. I'm sure this is not going to go extremely huge, but it does get pretty large. And the testing that I've done with these headphones, it does sound very nice. Again, I just have that little bit of concern about this not being able to be removed and replaced, so if something ever goes wrong with it, I'm kind of up a creek, but I've got other pairs of headphones. And I think to just sort of round things out and wrap it up, this pack costs about $200 no matter where you go. You can get just the audio interface, the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, for about $100, and actually right now, at the time of recording this video, I saw it was about $75 over on Adorama. It happens a couple of times a month, the price drops on it. But for the entire pack, including the microphone and headphones, I've not seen the price drop. I've been checking for a long time and I've just never seen the price go below $200. So I decided to go ahead and just go for it and significantly upgrade the quality of my audio without having to do a ridiculously large investment. Some other microphones can cost upwards of $200, $300 just for the mic itself, so $200 for this starter pack, really not that bad in my opinion. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to this pack down in the video description if you're interested in checking it out or learning more about it. I may also put a link to just the Solo itself, because if you've got an XLR microphone or any sort of microphone that needs 48 volts of power, this does provide that. I'm not going into enough detail about this, so I'm sorry about that. If you want me to go into more detail about the Focusrite, I can always do another video on it, but it's definitely got an awful lot of bells and whistles and features. It provides 48 volts of power to the XLR port. It does not to the second port, the line in, the instrument in, but they make even bigger, more advanced ones for things like that. So if you need that, you can get that. They get bigger and bigger. This was a good place for me to start, I think. So let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think about the audio quality difference down in the comment section below. Again, links to everything that I talk about here can be found down in the description, as well as links to all of the other gear that I use, including cameras and lenses and everything. Hit the like button down below if you like this video, subscribe to the channel to receive all the videos I make as soon as they become available, and I'll see you again next time.